It's real. The IRS deploys artificial intelligence to catch tax evasions, and they're saying this will also safeguard your tax refunds. Take a look. Articles coming out like this in the past 48 hours. The IRS will use AI to crack down on wealthy potential tax violators. And in the past 48 hours, here is the official press release directly from the IRS as the IRS announces sweeping efforts to restore fairness to the tax system with the Inflation Reduction Act funding. New compliance efforts focused on increasing scrutiny on high income, partnerships, corporations, and promoters abusing tax rules on the books. And look at the subtitle here. Agencies focus will shift attention to the wealthy from the working class taxpayers. Key changes coming to reduce the burden on the average taxpayer while using artificial intelligence or AI to improve the technology to identify sophisticated schemes to avoid taxation. September 8th, 2023. Now, what if you got a knock at the door and you answered it and it was a robot telling you that you owed the IRS money? Now, you're not really sure what to do, so in an effort to stall for time, you tell them, well, let me get a chance to call my accountant and review my papers, and then the robot tells you, I'll be back. Now, I know that sounds far-fetched, but we are one step closer, and we are not too far off with the advancements in AI that are taking place. I just recently let you know, take a look. You must verify that you're a human now. Some people are saying that the AI and the robots are getting so intelligent and realistic that WorldCoin users queue up for an iris scan. You must have your eyeball scanned in order to receive your funds. New cryptocurrency offers users tokens for scanning their eyeballs. And in addition to that, they're saying that another step we must take is microchips, the microchip implants that let you pay with your hand. Now you can scan your hand. You must verify that you're a human. And these are the ways now that we are going with AI in order to identify that you're a human, in order to buy and sell and get funding. And now the IRS is also using artificial intelligence. Now, if you want more information on artificial intelligence regarding microchips and eyeball scanning, stick around to the end. But I'm going to get you caught up on the latest that's coming out directly from the IRS in the past 48 hours, as they're saying this is a historic move for them embracing artificial intelligence in our monetary system. But let's go ahead and dive right in. And if you appreciate the updates on this Sunday morning, do me a quick favor, smash the like button, hit subscribe to stay up to date. And with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so here's the official press release directly from the IRS's website. And as I mentioned, this came out on September 8th. And it says capitalization on the Inflation Reduction Act funding. So this was passed by President Joe Biden, funding that's available. This is how they're going to be using it. And following a top to bottom review of enforcement efforts, the Internal Revenue Service announced today the start of a sweeping historic effort to restore fairness in the tax compliance by shifting more attention onto high income earners, partnerships, large corporations, and promoters abusing the nation's tax laws. Now, the effort, building off work following last August's IRA funding, will center on adding more attention on wealthy, partnerships, and other high earners that have seen sharp drops in audit rates for these taxpayer segments during the past decade. Now, the changes will be driven with the help of the improved technology as well as artificial intelligence that will help the IRS with compliance teams to better detect tax cheating, identify emerging compliance threats, and improve case selection tools to avoid burdening taxpayers with needless audits. Now, as a part of the efforts, the IRS will also ensure that audit rates do not increase for those earning less than $400,000 a year, as well as adding new fairness safeguards for those claiming the Earned Income Tax Credit. So, let me know your thoughts. They're saying that this is going to be focused on the wealthy. Do you believe it? That is the skepticism of a lot of people. They say they introduce these laws and tell them, we're not going to harm you, just the wealthy. However, some are skeptical that maybe after a while they'll begin to implement this on the everyday average person and start collecting taxes using artificial intelligence on everyone. Now, the EITC was designed to help workers with modest incomes. Audit rates of those receiving the EITC remain at high levels in recent years, while rates dropped precariously for those with higher incomes, partnerships, and others with more complex tax situations. The IRS will also be working to ensure unscrupulous tax preparers do not exploit people claiming these important tax credits. Now, this new compliance push makes good on the promises of the Inflation Reduction Act to ensure that the IRS holds our wealthiest filers accountable to pay the full amounts of what they owe, said IRS Commissioner Danny Werfel. The years of underfunding that predate the Inflation Reduction Act led to the lowest audit rates of wealthy filers in our history. I am committed to reversing that trend, making sure that new funding will mean more effective compliance efforts on the wealthy, while the middle and low-class filers, they will continue to see no change in historically low pre-IRA audit rates for years to come. Now, the nation relies on the IRS to collect funding for every critical government mission, from keeping our skies safe and our food safe and our homeland safe. It's critical that the agency addresses fundamental gaps in the tax compliance that have grown during the last decade. There is a sea change taking place at the IRS in every aspect of our operations, anchored by a deep respect for taxpayer rights. The IRS is deploying new resources toward cutting-edge technology to improve our visibility on where the wealthy shield their income and focus staff attention on the areas of greatest abuse. We will increase our compliance efforts on those posing the greatest risk to our nation's tax system, whether it's the wealthy looking to dodge paying their fair share or promoters aggressively peddling abusive schemes. And they're saying this is going to be protecting your tax refunds. These steps are critical for the future of the nation's tax systems. Now, here's some of the areas that it summarizes. Major expansion in high-income, high-wealth partnership compliance work, prioritizing high-income cases. In the High Wealth, High Balance Due Taxpayer Field Initiative, the IRS will intensify work on taxpayers with total positive incomes above $1 million that have more than $250,000 in recognizable tax debt. So they're going to be focusing on those individuals, building off earlier success that collected $38 million from more than 175 high-income earners. The IRS will have dozens of revenue officers focusing on these high-end collection cases in fiscal year 2024. Expansion of pilot focus on large partnerships leveraging artificial intelligence. So this is where the AI is coming in. Now, the complex structures and tax issues presented in large partnerships require a focused approach to best identify the high-risk issues and apply resources accordingly. Now, in 2021, the IRS launched the first stage of its large partnerships compliance program with the expansion of some of the largest, more complex partnership returns in the filing population. The IRS is now expanding the LPC program to additional large partnerships. With the help of AI, the selection of these returns is the result of groundbreaking collaboration among experts in data science and tax enforcement who have been working side by side to apply cutting-edge machine learning technology to identify potential compliance risks in the areas of partnership, tax, general income tax, accounting, and international tax in a taxpayer segment that historically has been subject to limited examination coverage. By the end of the month, the IRS will open examination of 75 of the largest partnerships in the U.S. that represent a cross-section of industries including hedge funds, real estate investments, partnerships, publicly traded partnerships, large law firms, and other industries. On average, these partnerships each have more than $10 billion in assets. Also, a greater focus on partnership issues through compliance letters. The IRS has identified ongoing discrepancies on balance sheets involving partnerships with over $10 million in assets, which is an indicator of potential non-compliance. Now, priority areas for targeted compliance work in fiscal year 2024, so a lot of this is going to be rolling out in the upcoming year. The IRS has launched numerous compliance efforts to address serious issues being seen. First, expanded work on digital assets. The IRS continues to expand efforts involving digital assets, cryptocurrencies, all of these things as we're going digital. And we've heard the central bank, the Federal Reserve, saying that by the year 2030, we will get rid of the paper money. We will have a digital US dollar, a CBDC, including work through the John Doe summons efforts and last month's release of proposed regulations of broker reporting. The IRS Virtual Currency Compliance Campaign will continue in the months ahead after an initial review shows the potential for a 75% non-compliance rate among taxpayers identified through record production from digital currency exchanges. Also, more scrutiny on FBAR, or foreign violations, and labor brokers. And they're going to be protecting your refunds. Take a look at this, helping working taxpayers through improving compliance selections, protecting taxpayers and businesses from aggressive scams and schemes, improve the equity in audits, emerging scam issues, and protection against identity theft. All of these, they say, scammers are targeting taxpayer refunds. And they want to use AI, they're saying, to make sure that they can protect your refunds from scammers or identity theft and from you losing money in these scams. Now, as I mentioned, I'm going to have this linked in the description below directly to the irs.gov website so that way you can see it for yourself. But in addition to that, there is a lot happening with our money and with our economy right now. And if you want to hear the latest about potential implants that they're talking about, the CBDC, or also in addition to that, scanning your eye enabled for you to transact currencies, check out these videos right here next. I'll also keep you up to date on reform for Social Security and everything that's taking place with our country, our economy, our Congress, so you know exactly what's going on. But with that being said, you guys, that is the latest. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.